Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the iPhone 13 Pro Max are the two iPhones that get the best battery of any phones Apple has ever made. So I wanted to help you decide if maybe you should upgrade to an 11 Pro Max or 13 Pro Max, or maybe go from an 11 Pro Max to a 13 Pro Max. And before we get started, this video is sponsored by Anchor. Now the first thing is the price. Right now, Apple no longer sells the iPhone 11 Pro Max new. They sell it refurbished on their website for $900 to $1,000 or so, and there's still three options: 64, 256, or 512 gigabytes. With the iPhone 13 Pro Max, of course, Apple's still selling it new as it's their latest flagship, and it comes in at $1,099 and goes up to $1,599 and has 128, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte storage options. So quite a range on both of them. Now the 11 Pro Max still can be purchased elsewhere outside of Apple, but it's not sold new by them anymore. Now they have different color options as well, and with the 11 Pro Max, you can see I'm holding the space gray model here, but it comes in midnight green, silver, and gold as well. With the 13 Pro Max, this is the new Sierra blue color. It also comes in silver, gold, and graphite. Graphite is basically space gray. Now, both of them are stainless steel and glass, so they have stainless steel around the outside edge, of course, but you can obviously see the 11 Pro Max has the rounded off edges, which some people prefer. The 13 Pro Max is a little bit easier to hold on to, but will show more smudges, and because of that squared off edge, also feels a little bit larger in the hand. So both of them look great, and both of them have glass front and back, but the 13 Pro Max has ceramic shield. This greatly reduces scratches in regular use. The 13 Pro Max has no scratches on it after being used without a screen protector for some time. The 11 Pro Max scratches very, very easily, so you'll definitely want to use a screen protector with it. You may or may not be able to see some of those scratches here. There's a weight difference between both of them as well, with the 11 Pro Max coming in at 7.97 ounces or 226 grams, where the 13 Pro Max is 8.46 ounces or 240 grams. So there's definitely a weight difference, and it feels a lot heavier. The 13 Pro Max is also thicker. If you put them side by side, you can see this pretty easily, and the camera bump on the 13 Pro Max protrudes much further than on the 11 Pro Max. So if that's something that bothers you, you may want to consider that. When it comes to the displays, there's slight differences here as well. With the 11 Pro Max, we have a 6.5-inch display, 2,688 by 1,242 with 458 pixels per inch. It has great viewing angles, has true tone, and will play HDR videos as well. But the 13 Pro Max takes it up another level with a 6.7-inch display, 2,778 by 1,284 with 458 pixels per inch. It has True Tone, wide color P3, so those things are similar, but has a regular brightness of 1000 nits and goes up to 1200 nits for HDR video, but also has ProMotion, which makes the screen much smoother with everyday use. Whether you're scrolling back and forth on the display or scrolling through the app library, you can definitely see and feel the difference. However, you can't see it on this camera recording this video, but under 240 frames per second slow motion, you can definitely notice it. Also, something you can see at 240 frames per second is the way the displays are controlling brightness using PWM, or pulse width modulation. This controls brightness by flashing the display faster or slower. It's the way most OLED displays work, and as you bring the brightness up, it flashes faster. As you bring it down, it flashes slower. This can cause about 1 in 10 people to feel nauseated or give them headaches or just eye strain in general. However, they're at high enough rates on both of these displays that they shouldn't bother you. However, on the 13 Pro Max, according to Notebook Check, they may be using DC dimming, and that's why you really don't see the flashing at 240 frames per second. So it seems to do a much better job and definitely seems easier on the eyes with regular use. Both displays are great, like I said. However, the 11 Pro Max has 800 nits of regular brightness in everyday use and up to 1200 nits for HDR video. The 13 Pro Max has 1000 nits for regular use and up to 1200 nits for HDR video as well. So HDR is the same, but with regular use outside, the 13 Pro Max could be a little bit better. Also, you may have already noticed the difference in the notches. The 13 Pro Max notch is narrower, but also protrudes into the display a little bit more. This isn't really a big deal, but it's something to note, as if you don't like the notch, you might appreciate the 13 Pro Max's smaller notch. The battery is where both of these phones really excel. The 11 Pro Max has a 3,969 milliamp hour battery that's good for up to 20 hours of playback according to Apple. The 13 Pro Max has a 4,352 milliamp hour battery that Apple says is good for up to 28 hours of video playback. So they both last a very long time. Battery health on my 11 Pro Max after using it full time for some time is quite good. I charge it every single night. We're at 93%, as you can see here, and it's still recalibrating. I have 100% on my current phone. But both of these will get you through a day without a problem, and you can expect anywhere between 8 to 11 hours or maybe more of screen on time with the 11 Pro Max. The 13 Pro Max will get you from about 11 to maybe 14 hours of screen on time, depending on your regular use. It's an incredible battery with this new phone, combined with its processor that really is much more efficient and lasts throughout the day. Now, when you're getting low, of course, both of them can fast charge about 50% in 30 minutes, but with the 13 Pro Max, you have wireless charging, just like the 11 Pro Max, but you also have MagSafe. So you have the option for it to magnetically adhere and align that charger and charge at a higher 15 watt rate if you want to do that. So both of them have wireless charging, but the 13 Pro Max has the advantage of faster wireless charging. And if you're looking for a good magnetic wireless charger, that's where the official charging partner of zollotech comes in, Anker, who sponsored this video. This is the Anker 623 magnetic wireless charger. It's sort of a can-shaped phone stand that charges up to 7.5 watts. So you set it down, place your phone on it, and it will charge. It's also Qi compatible, so you could charge the 11 Pro Max as well. But with MagSafe, since it's MagSafe compatible, you can tilt it up at up to 60 degrees and maybe watch a video while you're charging. Rotate your phone to landscape, and you'll see if you look at the back here, there's a little pad here as well where you can charge something else. So while you're charging your iPhone, you can place your AirPods on the back, AirPods Pro, and charge at the same time up to 5 watts. So you have dual charging built in, and it allows you to charge both an iPhone and AirPods or another accessory at once. It's available in 4 different colors: Misty Blue, Interstellar Gray, Dolomite White, and Lilac Purple. I'll link it in the description below if you'd like to check it out for yourself. Both devices are quite fast, but the iPhone 11 Pro Max has an A13 Bionic with 4 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 Pro Max has an A15 Bionic with 6 GB of RAM. So both are quite good, but you definitely get more RAM in the new phone, which adds to allowing you to keep more apps open in the background and things like that. If you're comparing speed between both, it's going to be very hard to notice this. If we open an app such as Minecraft, we'll just put these down here, and we open Minecraft, we'll just see how quickly they load side by side, and we'll create a world and just see how quickly we can get into it together, because I don't think you'll see much of a difference here. So if we create on both, give it just a moment, you'll see it popped up a little bit more quickly on the 13 Pro Max, as you would expect, and it's building the terrain. So you can see the difference between both of them here. So loading the world is definitely faster on the 13 Pro Max, but the 11 Pro Max should have similar frame rates once we're in. You can see there was a significant difference, though, between both of them, whether that's a limitation of the RAM that the program can use itself, or just the way the processor works overall. So that's one way to see the difference, a slight difference in load times. There's another way to see a difference with maybe exporting a 4K video, where it really depends on the task that you do on how quickly the processor will react and get your task done. So if I open up iMovie, I have iMovie loaded on both of the devices, and as you can see, it's the same video on both of them. Now, if we go into the app switcher, you can see there's no other apps open, and both videos are the exact same video from start to finish. And while scrolling through that, the 13 Pro Max wasn't as smooth for some reason. Both videos are 3 minutes and 46 seconds, and I modified the title so that when I export them, it has to recompress and render everything itself again. So we'll go ahead and export this and see what the time difference is between the 11 Pro Max and 13 Pro Max. So we'll hit done on both. Let me slide these over here and bring in a stopwatch. I've got a different phone for that. So we'll save the video at the same time on all of them and hit start on the stopwatch. And let's see how long it takes to export them. and both completed within about a half a second of one another, or maybe less. So they're both very capable and very fast when doing specific tasks. It really comes down to what you're doing with them. And as far as the overall heat, since it performed a couple intensive tasks loading a game, both of them are cool to the touch on the back. So there isn't really any heat buildup. You will occasionally get some more heat, probably on the 13 Pro Max if you're in maybe a larger case, when you're charging, things like that. That's completely normal, but it's not hot to the touch. The 12 Pro Max definitely had more heat on the back when you were maybe using intensive games or performing intensive tasks. So they seem to be pretty good this time around. The 11 Pro Max and 13 Pro Max are comparable there. Both phones have decent call quality and reception, but the 11 Pro Max has an Intel modem inside. So you may have some issues with that, as many people did have some issues for some time with those, where the 13 Pro Max has a Qualcomm modem as well as 5G and 5G millimeter wave, where you can see the antenna here. So you have that, as well as the ability to share a wireless hotspot with this up to the 5 gigahertz spectrum. So you can have some faster speeds with that. So if you use hotspot a lot, you may want to consider the 13 Pro Max. Now, the forward-facing cameras are a little bit different on each phone. With the 11 Pro Max, you have a 12 megapixel sensor with an f2.2 aperture that can record 4K 60 video. But on the 13 Pro Max, it's the same sensor size, 12 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture, but you can record 4K 60 HDR content, so Dolby Vision HDR, and you have photographic styles as well as cinematic mode. I'll show you in a moment. With the rear cameras, they're also somewhat similar but different as well. We still have 12 megapixel sensors on all the devices, but on the 11 Pro Max, you have an ultra-wide f2.4, a wide f1.8, and a telephoto f2.0 with 4K 60 video. With the 13 Pro Max, again, we have a triple 12 megapixel camera setup with an ultra-wide f1.8, a wide f1.5, and a telephoto f2.8 with up to 6 times optical zoom. Now, as far as additional features, with the 13 Pro Max, we have Apple ProRAW for the camera, as well as ProRes video, night mode portraits, Smart HDR3 for photos, and with the camera on the 13 Pro Max, we have photographic styles. So if we go into the camera settings, you can see photographic styles here where they show the differences. So you have a standard style, a rich contrast style, vibrant style, warm style, cool style, and then you can adjust it however you'd like as well. So you can change these to whatever you'd like based on what you prefer, and you can adjust those in the camera settings as well. Also in the camera, we have raw photos, and in the video, we have ProRes on the 13 Pro Max, which leads to much better video quality. I'll show you in a comparison in a moment. So ProRes quality is really good, but it uses a tremendous amount of space as far as that goes. You'll see that I have 15 minutes left, and I have over 130 gigabytes or so available for storage. So it takes up a tremendous amount of storage. Again, we have cinematic styles where it senses what's in the frame. And then if you look away, if it's a face, it will blur that out and focus on what's in the background and sort of switch back and forth, sort of like a focus pull. So you have all of those things on the 13 Pro Max that you don't have on the 11 Pro Max, as well as HDR. Now let's take a look at some of the videos and photos from both of these cameras so you can see which one looks best and sounds best as well. So here's the forward-facing camera from the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Both of them can record up to 4K 60. However, the 13 Pro Max can record in ProRes like I am right now, and HDR if you want to do that as well. Also, here's the microphone from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's a little bit windy outside. And now the 11 Pro Max. Let me know which one you think sounds best and looks best in the comments below. As far as the IP ratings on both, the iPhone 11 Pro Max has an IP68 rating of up to 4 meters for 30 minutes. Apple improved this with the 12 Pro Max and 13 Pro Max, giving it an IP68 rating of up to 6 meters for 30 minutes. However, I wouldn't use either of these in water without a protective case, as Apple does not cover water damage if it should intrude into the internals of the phone. So just keep that in mind. Both of them will do pretty well if it's raining outside or something like that. As far as the overall speakers, I wanted you to hear those, and let's take a listen to that. I'll go to one of my videos on YouTube. So we'll start with the 11 Pro Max. Both of the speakers sound quite good, with the 11 Pro Max at the highest volume sounding a little bit muffled. The 13 Pro Max goes a little bit louder and has better stereo separation in my opinion. Since they've placed the speaker at the very top, it seems to have a better sort of stereo sound, and with its louder volume is better overall. However, the sound is very similar between both, and the 13 Pro Max is definitely louder. As far as iOS updates, well, with the 13 Pro Max being the latest phone, you can expect 5 to 6 years of updates. So maybe iOS 20, iOS 21 at this point, based off what Apple's been doing with their latest phones, all the way back to the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus. With the 11 Pro Max, I would expect up to maybe iOS 18, maybe iOS 19. We just don't know at this point, as Apple does not clearly define how long they'll update their phones. But I would expect years of coverage for both of them. And that leads me to which one should you choose, the 11 Pro Max or the 13 Pro Max? If you already have an 11 Pro Max, you're happy with it, you're happy with the battery and speed overall, I don't see a huge reason or a compelling reason to upgrade other than the cameras specifically and a little bit better battery life. The cameras on the 13 Pro Max are definitely better, although not leaps better. However, when it comes to video, if you film a lot of video and you want to use ProRes, there's a big difference there, especially with LiDAR, which I didn't mention before, which helps with some of the autofocus as well as augmented reality. But both of them are quite good phones. The viewing angles on both, the displays, I think you'll be quite happy with either, but if you're bothered by the PWM I mentioned earlier, the 13 Pro Max would be your best bet. However, as far as cost is concerned, if they're the same price, go with the latest one. However, if you can get the 11 Pro Max at maybe $500 or $600, it might be the best one to go with, as that's quite a bargain and has much of the features or most of the features of the 13 Pro Max. So it comes down to cost and which features matter most to you. Camera-wise, the 13 Pro Max, and battery, but everything else, they're very, very similar. Let me know which phone you're using in the comments below, and hopefully this helped you out as far as which one you decide to pick up. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.